Welcome back to my channel, Artistic Chinook, where we can learn the complete ISTQB Foundation Level New Syllabus 2020 in an easy and simple way and can clear the exam without any difficulties. In our previous video, we have learned about static and dynamic testing. In this video, we are going to learn the first subtopic, that is objectives of testing. This is a K1 type of topic, as questions will be directly from this topic, so you need to remember it really well. So objectives of testing may vary as per many contexts. There can be many factors to define the objectives of a testing. So some of the factors depends on the component or system we are going to test. It also depends on the testing level and which the software development lifecycle model we are going to use for this product. Now let us understand the factors on basis of an example. Component testing and acceptance testing. Both are types of testing but are performed at different test levels. In component testing, the main objectives are to find as many defects as possible in the system, so that all of them can be fixed and removed before releasing it to the customer. Also, one of the objectives of component testing is to increase the code coverage of the component test. Whereas in acceptance testing, the objectives are to confirm that the system works as expected and must satisfy all the requirements that are provided by the stakeholders. Here, we don't have testing objective to find as many as defect in the system like the component testing. Instead, we here confirms that whatever customer requirements were there are fully satisfied and the customer is happy with whatever we are delivering to them. One objective of acceptance testing can be to provide to stakeholders about the risk of releasing the product at a given time. Now we will discuss the objective of testing as per ISTQB. There are in total 9 objectives. Here we will discuss all of them one by one. Let's start. The first objective of testing is to evaluate work products such as requirements, user stories, design and code. The requirements need to be checked whether it contains all the required information or sufficient information to pass to the next level of stage. Similarly, user stories, the design and even the code need to be evaluated before passing it to the next stage. This helps us to find any defects like ambiguity, contradictions, duplications and many such. Work products are the documents that are created after each phase of testing. Let us understand this with an example. Suppose we have a requirement as once a user enter correct credential should be navigated. Page must load quickly. The third requirement is if the credentials are wrong, the user should get a pop-up window. Now, as per this objective of testing, we need to evaluate the requirements. Once we are done with the evaluation of the requirements, in this example, we may come with some questions like, the user enter correct credentials should be navigated. Here I have a question like, navigated to which page? Now the next requirement is page must load quickly. Again I have question like how quickly, because quickly can be defined different for different person. It can be 10 millisecond, 50 millisecond or 100 millisecond. That I need to confirm with the customer. Our third requirement is if the credentials are wrong, the user should get a pop-up. Now, what information must be displayed in the pop-up window? These are the questions which answers are required before passing testing to the next level. So these answers must be gathered from the customers. The second objective of testing is to verify whether all specified requirements have been fulfilled. Now let's move to our example. This objective checks whether all the gathered requirements are enough to start the next phase of STLC. We will now understand this with the previous example we have discussed. So we have gathered the incomplete requirements as navigate to which page. Once the user provides the correct credentials, user must be navigated to information page. Second question was page must load how quickly, that is 10 millisecond, 50 millisecond or 100 millisecond. User information page must load in 50 milliseconds. Now the requirements is more specific. It's no more quickly. We have to make it as 50 milliseconds. The page must be loaded in 50 milliseconds. Third question was what information must be displayed in the pop-up window? If the credentials are wrong, pop-up window must display error message and the error message display as user credentials are wrong. Now we have all the engineering missing requirements to build. Similarly, we can verify all the requirements in each stage of software testing life cycle. The third objective of testing is to validate whether the test object is complete and works as the user and other stakeholders expect. As per these objectives, we have to validate that the developer's product meets the user's need. There shouldn't be any gap or deviation between what we are giving to the user and what user is expecting. Suppose if the user needs a box made up of glass, we cannot offer them a box made up of plastic which looks like glass. So there is a difference in expectation and the reality of the product. So let's understand this by following the previous example. The product must offer the user login with correct credentials and gets navigated to the user information page. If the user provides wrong or incorrect credentials, system must show a pop-up box with message as user credentials are wrong. Let's now discuss about the fourth objective of testing, that is to build confidence in the level of quality of the test object. As per this object, for each of the test object, a certain level of confidence must be achieved before passing it to the next level. Test objects are those on basis of which we can perform testing. Now we will understand how confidence is built. The more and more defects we find in each level of testing makes the product gets free from those many defects, which in result increases the quality of the product and helps to develop the confidence in the quality. The fifth objective of testing is to prevent defects. What happens if we don't follow this objective of testing? Suppose if there is a defect in the requirements and we miss it, as we are not following to prevent defects objective of testing. So there is a high chance we can miss out defects and move to the next stage of testing. Then eventually the defect will pass from one stage to another and then to another and then to another, which in result will be reason of defect in the developed code and will be much expensive to fix it and need to be fixed in all these stages from where the defect has traveled, from the starting point of the defect and to the whole path where the defect has traveled. Defects can be found at any stage of testing, but if we find a defect in the initial stage and prevent them to pass in the next levels, will eventually reduce the cost and effort of fixing it. So this is one of the most important objective of testing, to prevent defects. Let's now look the sixth objective, that is to find failure and defects. This objective is related to objective 5, that is to prevent defects. The more defects are found and fixed, the more is the quality of product increased. The seventh objective of testing is to provide sufficient information to stakeholders to allow them to make informed decisions, especially regarding the level of quality of the test object. When we perform testing, we exactly know about the quality of the product and risk associated with it. So, it's tester's responsibility to provide sufficient information about quality and risk of the product to the stakeholders, so that the stakeholders can take the right decision about the product release or about the test object. The second last objective of testing is to reduce the level of risk of inadequate software quality. For example, previously undetected failures occurring in operations. The more we prevent defects from passing and find as many defects, the quality of the test object increases, which reduces the level of risk. The last objective of testing is to comply with contractual, legal, or regulatory requirements or standards, and or to verify the test object's compliance with such requirements or standards. For different applications, there are some legal and regulatory standards that needs to be fulfilled. For example, there are some standards one must achieve before releasing a product in the market. The rules are also mentioned in ISO standards. Now let's quickly summarize all the 9 testing objectives. First, to evaluate work products such as requirements, user stories, designs and code. Second, to verify whether all specified requirements have been fulfilled. Third, to validate whether the test object is complete and works as the user and other stakeholders expect. Fourth, to build confidence in the level of quality of the test object. Fifth, to prevent defects. Sixth, to find failures and defects. Seventh, to provide sufficient information to stakeholders to allow them to make informed decisions, especially regarding the level of quality of the test objects. Eighth, to reduce the level of risk of inadequate software quality, for example, previously undetected failure occurring in operations. Ninth, to comply the contractual, legal or regulatory requirements or standards, and or to verify the test object's compliance with such requirements or standards. In the next video of this series, we will discuss the second subtopic of chapter 1, that is testing and debugging. See you there. Thank you for learning with me. Please give this video a like and subscribe for more videos. Keep learning more.